I'm the Confused Ogre, and today I'm going to teach you how I do all the stonework for the terrain that I build, including doors, floors, as well as bricks and walls. Let's get started.
Let's paint.
So the first step for making your bricks is coming up with a consistent dimension for them. 1 by 1 seems to be the standard for this tabletop terrain, so 1/2 inch by 1 inch bricks is what I like to use. They seem to interlock and fit together well. After I get them set up, I'm going to actually throw them in my tumbler here with some rocks and screws, and it really gives some good random beat up brick edges. And you can also break some of them in half and give some different variations that way too. Finally, I do a quick round of tinfoil rolling to really dial in different bricks and give it a little more character on an individual basis if I'm really looking for something specific. From that point, you can just kind of stack and play around with laying out whatever you're trying to do with your bricks. You can stack them up into a wall, or like I'm doing here on this project, kind of making like a ruined, collapsed wall type scenario. The next step is going to be sealing and painting, but we're going to save that for the end. I'm going to move on to teaching you how to build a wall first. Now, obviously, the first step in building your wall is to get the height and width that you want it to be. So I'm using this Proxxon foam cutter. Love it. Makes it pretty quick work, but you can also cut and break the foam out to whatever situation you're dealing with. Then I go through and I'm marking out every 1/2 inch and making some 1/2 inch rows here to score with the hobby knife. Probably just going down about 1/8 of an inch or so with that knife. Then going back through, marking every inch and doing the same thing for those vertical marks of the bricks. Next thing, get out a simple dull pencil and you're going to go through and reinforce those score lines, just giving that extra definition around the edges. And then back to the hobby knife, and I like to chip some corners away, cause some cracks, really just randomly, every 10 bricks or so, do something unique to it. Finally, we're going to end with a good round of tinfoil rolling that gives us that stone effect that we are shooting for. As for the doorways, we're going to take the original cutout of the door that we started with and start layering bricks around it. Now, consistently we want 1 inch widths, but our depth and height needs to be random. So cut out a bunch of pieces, put the stone effects on it, and start building up to where you have a outline around the door of what you like. Once we get that all finished, I like to tape it onto the door here and trace onto the wall where we're going to be putting that doorway. You can draw with a pencil or cut with a hobby knife like I did, and then go through and cut it out. You can use your foam cutter or hobby knife, whatever you need to do, but it should fit like a glove. Feel free to trim and work it into exactly how you want it before gluing it into place. Now, on this project, I had a little bit of a gap there that I didn't like, so you can fill that in with your putty of choice, whatever you want to do. I use this Vallejo plastic putty, get an old brush, and really just work it in there and try to make it look natural. As far as the floor goes, it's pretty straightforward here. I like to start with the grid pattern on what I'm working with so I know kind of what I'm shooting to fill in. But once again, 1 inch by 1 inch is the target. I cut out a bunch with the foam cutter, a bunch of these little wafers, and then I take a little time, same thing, cutting off corners, breaking some in half, and rolling tinfoil on all of the faces. Once I get a big pile, I use some PVA glue, layer it all down there, and start filling in the puzzle pieces. I try to go for some variations all over the place. Some are a little bit bigger, some are a little smaller, some have got big cracks, some are missing. Whatever you need to do, don't be too specific or too perfect about it. An old dungeon floor is not perfect. And that pretty much does it for all the foam portions of the stonework. You can see I try to be pretty consistent with the methods that I use And I think that really helps with tying together the different transitions, right? From bricks to the floor, to the walls, to the doorway. You can tell that they're all made by the same person. So the most important part, I think, is just embrace the mistakes and don't worry about being too perfect on anything. So the next phase I'm going to call basing. And with basing on these stones, what I really like to do, we're kind of going for two goals here. We're going to rough up the texture a little bit by using some variations of coarse and fine sand or dirt. And we can get that to stick on by just using some PVA glue. And then finally, I want to go over the top of all of that with a coat of Mod Podge. And that really helps to just seal everything into place, gives us a protective layer on that foam, and really make sure that none of that sand and grit will come up later down the road when you're painting it or when you're playing on top of it or using this stuff. So anyway, as you can see, a little layer of that dirt really helps give it a final dungeony, gritty feel. Okay, next step is painting. So I prime all of the work that we've done so far. And before priming would be a good time if you wanted to add any weapons or skeletons or anything that you want to add to it. But anyway, we prime everything and we begin dry brushing. That's the way I like to paint it. I think it comes out the most natural. And I begin dry brushing by just starting dark and working my way up. Start with a really dark gray as a base, and move on to more of a medium gray, and then we finish up with like a really bright light gray. Now you can play around with all different colors. Some might be more brown or green or whatever the theme that you're working on is. I tend to go with this kind of boring standard gray color. But in any rate, once your gray is all done and you've got it pretty bright, you put a coat of wash on there, some black Nuln Oil type wash. Now, one thing that I always get in the habit of is feel like it is not bright enough. And by the time I get the final layer of that wash on there, it really makes everything look too dark. So I would say that don't worry about it being too bright before you put your wash on there. It's definitely going to darken down. And here you can see our final round of dry brushing and washing. I think it's right what we are looking for. Some nice variations of grays, some good depths of colors and lights. And with that, the only thing left to do is to make the stonework your own. Add some moss, some minions, some miniatures, some spider webs, whatever you need to do to make it pop. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see the full build of this project I was working on, check out this next video. It's called The Dungeon. Until next time, we'll see ya.